like actually ready to do this while
Okay.
we contact the other students. But you can go live, yes.
Sounds good. It
Oh,
is
Coach Sandy,
fine.
Yes.
Martina says she can't join because it says I have to sign up. When I try to sign up, it doesn't let me.
The other students, but you can go live.
Yes.
So they can't sign up.
That's
Sandy,
what the other.
Yes.
That's what somebody
Martina
else said
says
to me.
she can't
Okay.
join because it says I have to sign up. When I try to sign up, it doesn't let me.
The other students
Okay.
can go
Yes. Yeah.
They can't sign up.
That's
Sandy,
the other.
Yes.
That's what.
Martina says she can't
Okay.
join because it says I have to sign up. When I try to sign up, it doesn't let me.
You see how the audio is like
Okay.
echoing?
Yes. Yeah.
Mute,
They
mute,
can't sign up.
mute the YouTube live.
That's what.
Martina says she can't join
Okay.
because
Okay. So as soon as Philippe's ready, I'll tell him this problem. Okay.
Did it mute the live, Felipe?
I think you did, yes.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Philippe, did you hear what they were saying?
Sign up for I heard, but I don't understand. Sign up for what? It's just a Zoom meeting, just
Okay.
like
for Zoom. They haven't signed up with Zoom.
well, how did they
So
join
when
Coach
they click,
class?
Because it's a link. I have no clue,
That-
honestly. I don't even know.
Well, we can get the link here too.
Oh, maybe I can text them the link.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
here's the link.
yeah, put the link in the chat and let's try that
Mhm.
again. But it's the same link, so I don't know that that's going to solve that.
Verinda says she can't join with her capitaldebate.org account.
Yeah.
All right. So, Philippe,
Where is the chat? The student Melinda, you said? Melinda?
Verinda.
Miranda
Verinda,
Chow?
it is no Verinda with a V,
Verinda.
and
Okay.
the last name is VAID. Okay. So it's that one, and then Martina Lee and Damon Condora.
Okay, let me open the
Condura.
roster here. 1 second.
Okay. Conduru, that's probably right. Yeah. And I have no idea how to say
Bye,
Verinda's
Jonathan.
last name.
Bye,
Say that again
Jonathan.
for me?
Yeah, I can. So it's VAIDYANATHAN.
Right, I'm looking at it. All right.
Oh God.
What's
Okay, so
wrong?
Charlotte's gonna call them and try to.
Yeah,
I sent her the
Okay.
link through the G chat.
yeah. I have Verinda on the phone if you guys want to hear her.
I don't know, Philippe, are you ready to work with
Hello?
Verinda?
Capital debate.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so it's not letting me. When I click on the link that I was sent in Google Classroom, it tells me to sign in to join this meeting. And when I click sign in, it tells me I have to put in my email or phone number. And when I put in my capital debate email and click next, it tells me that it's unable to sign in with the email and that I have to try another email or create a new account.
But wait, what account do you use to go to Coach Sandra's class? Because you can use the same one.
Yeah, I'm using my capital debate email, which is brenda.videnathan.4282@capitaldebate.org.
Oh.
Oh, Martina's on the phone now.
4282. Okay. Let me just make sure that your account is here in the inside the Zoom. 1 second. Users.
So basically, so when I try to click the thing, and then I click join from browser, because that's what I always do, and then it says sign in to join this meeting. And then I did that, and it says you can't sign up at this time. Did you click the link in Google Classroom? Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I sent a Zoom invitation to Brenda. You should see a Zoom invitation. Who else is having problems like signing in?
I'm sorry. Martina.
Martina, okay.
Brenda asked where you sent the link to.
It goes to her Gmail, her capital debate Gmail.
Okay. Gmail? Wait, I have the problem too. This is Martina.
Martina, yes, I'm gonna do the same for you. Martina.
And then if you would do the same thing, Damon, though we don't have contact with Damon.
He didn't
He's
answer the
not
call.
here.
I mean,
Yeah.
let me try to. No, is it because he's watched?
Okay, so I sent Martina invitation as well to create an account with Zoom. See if that solves the issue. It's supposed to be it's very self-explanatory. Just follow the steps, click next, create a password and just create an account and see if you can log in.
I have it updated.
All right. And
To at one of the on like the first link where you access the Zoom meeting, it says, "Hi all, I do not have the link to join the call for the presentations. Please send it to me ASAP."
Who said that?
Damon. Damon.
Okay, let me get the link.
okay. Yeah. And
I'm gonna
tell
send it to
him
the
also
chat.
that it's going to his G chat.
In chat. Wait, so for mine it says, "Hi Martina, Capital Debate. Felipe has created a Zoom account for you." Is that
Yeah,
what
correct.
Okay. What is the password?
Can you do the same thing to Damon's email?
Yeah.
What is the password?
I think you set the
Okay.
password.
And then Dave, will you send Damon a message that says it will be in his
Yeah.
email?
Damon
Right.
already has a Zoom account, so all he has to do is just click the link because he's already in here.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
But you're going to email it to him?
Yeah,
Okay. Yep.
Damon already saw my G chat, so I'm assuming he's coming in now.
Perfect. I did tell them to be on the G chat if they had problems. So we haven't used it much.
Here we go. That's one.
Brenda wants to talk to you guys. So
Okay.
Noisy.
I've logged into Zoom. I've created an account. But how do I get to the link?
Now just click the link.
Where is it? I cannot find it.
Who's talking?
Brenda. Brenda.
Okay, I'll G chat you. Okay, Brenda.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I set up a Zoom account. What do I do now?
Just click on the link, and when he asks you to, oh, sorry, Brenda, I sent you the wrong thing. It's gonna be on the G chat, Brenda. I sent you the.
I can join. Oh, Martina, are you? Martina joined. Yay. I'm gonna hang up now. Okay. Good night. Thank you.
Here you go, Brenda. That's the link.
Brenda's in.
Oh, she's in. Nice.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
We're getting everybody in here.
So just making sure that everyone is in.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what's the link to see the YouTube
The
channel?
YouTube live, it was emailed to your parents,
Oh.
It's
But I-
also in the chat.
Yeah.
that
Haley.
I said since you just
Yep.
but I can put
Yeah,
it in.
that's what I was going to say.
it's in the chat, y'all.
Yeah.
That
What's
is
in the chat?
sent to parents.
Oh, the link?
That's the
The
live.
link for your families is in the chat.
Oh.
So you
So
can
we're still missing
you
Michael,
can
or no?
No, he joined.
Oh, he joined. Yeah. Okay, good.
so do we have all of our people? Martina, Verinda, Charlotte, Dave, and Damon. We have everyone,
Yippee.
I believe, unless I've missed
Yes.
something.
2,
Okay.
Charlotte.
All right. So do all of my kids make sure your parents have that YouTube live link? It's in the chat and it was emailed
I
to
just
them.
sent
So
Coach,
a way
I'm
you
trying to get it,
yeah.
but can you just wait a moment?
Yes, we can wait. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm
Yep,
sorry.
we can definitely wait. No, you're fine. You're fine. You're allowed to get everything settled. It's a little bit complicated.
Are you guys all settled here? Am I allowed to leave now? Can I go?
I think my kids are. Yeah.
Haley,
I'm double checking. Is Haley's lab here? We have Michael. Please put a yes in the chat if you're here. Charlotte, Noah, Ethan, Leah.
I see Leia, I see Michael, I see Noah, I see Ethan. Yeah, I see 10 students. I think it looks like everyone is in.
All right. Ethan, are you here?
5, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, see, he's muted and his camera is off, but he is here. Let me.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that he's actually here.
Can you
Since
guys
we're on break.
turn your cameras on so we can all see each other now?
Oh, we have
Charlotte.
to turn our cameras on? Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone's here now.
Mhm.
Ethan. Maybe he went to the restroom. Let me see. Ethan. Okay. Ethan is here.
And then Felipe, when they all present, you just pin them or spotlight for everyone.
Yeah, you pin.
Okay.
But when they present, make sure you're not sharing your screen. No one is sharing their screen.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sounds good.
Let me call Ethan.
Okay. Oh, Ethan just turned his camera on.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. We're good to go. Awesome.
Thank y'all. And
No
make sure you
problem.
keep your cameras on, y'all, so that we know you're all here. All right. Thank you, Felipe.
No problem. Guys, enjoy.
Alright. That is there. Are you good, Coach Sandy? To start. All right. Move that over. Okay, so let's get this showcase started. Welcome to everyone joining us live for the 2026 Capitol Debate virtual session number 3 showcase. We truly appreciate you taking the time to be here and celebrate all of the hard work and growth that all of these amazing campers have demonstrated over the past 2 weeks. Today, we will begin with our award ceremony, where we will recognize our students and present them with virtual certificates of completion. Following the ceremony, our students will participate in a showcase where they will demonstrate the persuasive speaking skills and techniques that they've developed throughout our time together. And then after our showcase, we will officially conclude our camp for this session. So to begin, let's take a look at our slideshow with some of our showcase details and present the certificates to our amazing campers. So before we dive into the certificates, we'd like to share a quick overview of what we have explored over these past 2 weeks. First, we've been challenging the campers to excel in their communication and argumentation skills. Second, we developed leadership and character through a variety of different team building activities, lessons, interactions, and shared expectations. And one of our main focuses throughout our time together was developing some skills on how to give, receive, and apply feedback effectively as well. While this can be a bit challenging of a skill to develop, it is also one of the most important skills for personal growth and future success. Additionally, we combined an element of individual persuasive speaking and competition in a spontaneous argumentation debate format to motivate students to meet goals and challenge them to think on their feet, as well as develop arguments effectively. So overall, our goal is that your child had some fun at our virtual camp, of course, but also that they'll be able to take these skills that they've learned over the past couple of weeks and experiment with them and apply them to change their lives back at home, in their classrooms, future professions, communities, and all over the world. So after looking back at a brief recap of what skills we have explored, let's move toward presenting our certificates for our virtual camps for this session. So I'd like to pass it off to Coach Sandy to do so for her crew.
All right. So I had such a good time with your kids. If you're watching, parents, they have been so fantastic. I was super worried about teaching online because last summer I did it all live, but they made it easy and they spent a lot of time really trying to get better, and they were so good to each other. So my first award is, can you switch the slideshow? Is the Effort and Work Ethic Award, and it goes to Dave because he consistently gave his best effort even when the work was challenging. He didn't ever say, oh, that's good enough. As a result, he got better and better. His work ethic shows everyone what it means to keep going until you are truly satisfied with what you've done. Our next award, the Quiet Leader Award, goes to Charlotte. Charlotte has the kind of leadership that really doesn't require attention. Instead, she leads by example. She follows directions. She stays on task. She treats everyone with respect. We could always count on her to listen carefully and then give us unique insights. Our third award goes to Martina. She has brought such energy and imagination into our lab. She thinks and creates in original and imaginative ways. She creates flowers, she creates games, but she also creates great ideas that are surprising and fun, and then she isn't afraid to share them because she looks at things from different angles that other people might not see. Her creativity made our discussions much more interesting. And then the next award goes to what I would consider the energy of our lab, and that is Verinda. She gets the Kindness and Teamwork Award because she brought kindness to our lab every day. She always noticed when someone needed help and she stepped in with patience and encouragement. And she made our work together as a group a lot smoother by listening to others and including everyone and making sure that everyone was respected in their viewpoint. So she's really good at helping others maintain boundaries, which is going to serve her fantastically in life. And our last award for focus and perseverance is Damon. He really had the ability to focus and keep going even when things got tough. At the beginning, he had a lot of technical problems and he had to like make up time because he missed getting things done because of the technical problems, but he stuck with it. He asked questions. He was willing to collaborate with Felipe to get things fixed, and he did lots of different strategies instead of giving up. And as a result, he made a lot of growth these last 2 weeks. And I am very proud of him and actually every single one of them. All right, I'm going to pass it back to you, Coach Haley.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Sandy, and congratulations to everyone in Sandy's class as well. So, our class at the very beginning found that something they all have in common is that they all play some sort of instrument. So, our class or lab name was the Troublemakers. And we also gave each camper a special title that kind of captures what they brought to our class culture and community, inspired by how some of their fellow campers saw and appreciated them during our time together. So first up, we have Charlotte. Charlotte consistently demonstrated a genuine kindness, thoughtful reflection during SPAR, and was always there encouraging others. And as our supportive strategist, she consistently demonstrated thoughtful reasoning, deep focus with everything that we did, and strong leadership, helping to elevate every single discussion that we had and inspire other campers to do their best. So congratulations, Charlotte. Next up, we have Ethan. Ethan brought a lot of creativity to every single team building activity that we did. You can kind of see his photo is when he was holding a big thumbs up during one of our charades and nonverbal activity. And he was always using strong reasoning and unique perspectives to strengthen his arguments. So, as our analytical adventurer, he embraced exploration of different angles for argument development, which led to continuous growth throughout our time together. So, congratulations, Ethan. Next, we have Leia. Leia brought unwavering passion to literally every single speech with all of her meaningful stories and personal examples that she would share with us along the way. And as our radiant storyteller, she was our literal ray of sunshine and was consistently willing to tackle any challenge every single day. So, congratulations, Leia. Next up, we have Michael. So Michael earned first place at our Capital Debate Tournament, showcasing his commitment to growth and excellence. As our unshakable rhetorician, even with the most challenging and random arguments, he always remained adaptable and defended them like no other. So it was really great to see. So congratulations, Michael. And finally, we have Noah. So Noah always identified specific loopholes in SPAR debate rounds and formed incredibly creative and thoughtful ideas on the spot. And as our clever architect, she demonstrated thoughtful planning and strategy to bring her arguments and ideas to life in a way that persuaded others with purpose. So congratulations, Noah. I am so proud of each and every single one of you for all of the hard work that you put in over these past 2 weeks. So congratulations. And a huge congratulations to all of our amazing campers here. This does conclude our first part of the ceremony as we celebrate some of your strengths and what you've really excelled at over these past couple of weeks. We hope all of you are also proud of yourselves, as we are all incredibly proud of you. So, what happens next? Well, we would love to tell you all about some opportunities that we have to continue if your campers would like to develop their skills and strengths further with Capital Debate. So today only, if you'd like to secure a spot for next year's camp, then we can offer you a $300 off coupon using the coupon code 2027 virtual. After today, you will still be able to use this code, but it will only be $100 off. So if you need a little while to think about it, that's totally fine, but the coupon code will still be there. Additionally, we encourage you to try the in-person camps next year. So if you want to do virtual next year, that's also a great option, but it will be much of the same format that we just did over these past couple of weeks, especially since in-person speech performances and debates provide a completely different experience instead of speaking to a camera. We encourage you to consider exploring the many in-person campuses that we have Capital Debate at throughout the United States. And these opportunities allow students to really engage directly with a larger group of peers, build more confidence through live interaction, and connect with others from all over the world. So we really hope that you take a moment to consider the possibility of trying out our in-person camps, which are a lot of fun as well. Furthermore, we would love to also let you know that we have a club debate league at Capital Debate. So although all of the campers have excelled and completed this virtual camp, the fun does not have to come to an end for any of you. So we really want to emphasize how much they have grown in such a short time, and as a way to continue the momentum of growth as they just established a very strong foundation, you can always look into our virtual club debate league. So this is going to offer the same virtual learning environment and coaching structure as what we've experienced in this rapid fire 2-week camp, but it is a long-term structure that will build and improve upon a lot of the skills that we've just learned more consistently. So there are weekly online team meetings about an hour each week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, it's your choice. Meetings are offered at 7 or 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And these camps essentially allow students to continue practicing their speaking, debating, researching, and teamwork skills in particular. Now, there are 4 quarters offered throughout the year, just to offer some flexibility for you to join. And there are new topics each quarter to keep everything interesting and engaging and new, and encourage even more growth in those debating skills. There will also be 2 tournaments per quarter, which gives them a chance to put those skills into action even more and keep improving. Additionally, there are specialized weekend workshops from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where they will specifically focus on deeper skill building, preparation, and confidence. So ultimately, this club debate league offers opportunities to advance where they can progress into the accelerated group as their skills continue to further develop. And top students may even advance to our national all team. So our national all team competes in a prestigious national level virtual tournament throughout the school year. And actually, we just won our 6th national title this past year. And it would be so awesome. And we would love to welcome the next generation of champions. And we're speaking to all of you in this room. And we suspect that a lot of the campers here today would be ready to go for that league. So this is a great next step to consider for campers who want to keep learning, keep growing, keep competing, and have a fun time doing it. So once again, thank you for an awesome 2 weeks and a huge congratulations to all of our students here. All right, now let's move into our student showcase. They will present their persuasive speeches that they've been working on for the past couple of weeks. We know those watching live are going to be persuaded by each and every single one of these awesome speakers. So, without further ado, let me stop sharing. And Coach Sandy, do you want to start first, or would you like my lab to go?
We can go. And so that you guys know the order, we're going to go from youngest to oldest. That way you'll know when you're coming up. Okay? So let's start with Verinda. Yeah.
Why am I the youngest? Can I
Because
start?
you're fantastic. That's perfect.
Have you ever had to miss a couple of days of school? Because I have. And when I came back, I had to bring home that day's homework, past day's homework, and even some classwork home. I got really frustrated and I thought it would be no use at all. But the next day, when I came back to school, it was like I had known everything from the start. The truth is, though, when elementary schools assign homework, it helps children practice really important skills outside of the classroom. There are three ways this happens. First, it builds good habits for higher grades. Second, it brings connection between parents and children. And finally, it helps children remember what they've learned. The first main reason is that it builds good habits for higher grades. Like when you go into middle school and high school, you get homework for almost every subject. So starting little by little, you'll get into the habit of doing it. So you know, as soon as I get home, oh, I have to do my homework instead of waking up at 2 a.m. and trying to do it all in a rush. This important piece of information has been looked over multiple times in the past. And in December of 1960, the Saturday Evening Post writes that the U.S. should lengthen the school year and increase the amount of homework given. But this isn't the only reason why elementary schools should assign homework. Another reason is that it brings connection between parents and children. It forms an essential bridge for parents to stay connected to their child's learning. Without homework, the sole resource for parents to know what's going on at school would be their children. In addition to this, the Harvard Graduate School of Education note that well-designed problems connect parents and children and form critical problem solving. These are two reasons so far of why elementary schools should assign homework. The third reason is that it helps children remember what they've learned. Let's take this scenario. You come home from school, drop your bag, and immediately go play, and you forget what you've learned. That would be useless, right? Doing homework means trying to remember, and while you're writing it down, your brain would be keeping under lock and key, saying, oh, this is useful information. Many studies have been conducted before, and a recent one has occurred at Duke University. They looked over more than 60 past studies and conducted a few of their own. The evidence was clear. Homework was beneficial to the student body in numerous different ways. As we've seen today, elementary schools should assign homework because first, it builds good habits for higher grades. Furthermore, it brings connection between parents and children. And finally, it helps children remember what they've learned. So next time you get homework, don't complain about it. Instead, embrace it as a new way to improve.
Okay, next is Charlotte.
Coach, is this okay?
Yeah, let me pin you real quick so we're for sure that you're on the video.
I got her, Sandy.
Okay, you got it? Okay, good deal.
Can I start?
Yes.
According to Common Sense Media, kids spend an average of 5.5 hours on their screens per day. We need to reduce the amount of screen time being given to kids for the good of everyone. This is true for three main reasons. First, it'll give them eye issues. Second, it'll stunt their mental and social growth. Third, it will harm their learning. The first main reason is that it will give kids eye issues. A study from Cooper Vision in March says the amount of people with nearsightedness in 2020 has increased by 1.4 to 3 times as much compared to the past 5 years. And since 2020, the amount of people with nearsightedness has grown much, much more. Another study from CHOP states kids' eyes need sunlight in order to grow and thrive. Kids who are inside on their screens all day long will not be able to receive natural sunlight. Therefore, their eyes cannot grow. Screen time not only gives kids eye issues, but it also stunts their mental and social growth. A study from PMC by Dr. Mira says kids need face-to-face and physical interaction in order to grow healthy mental and social skills. It also states that excessive screen time will have a large negative impact on their mental and social well-being. Aside from screen time stunting mental and social growth, it also harms learning. A study from NYP.org says kids need to go outside and play and be imaginative in order to develop their brains. Kids who are huddled on their screens all day long will not be able to be imaginative nor creative. Therefore, their brains cannot grow. It also states that kids with much more screen time score lower on tests and prove to be doing academically worse compared to the kids with much less screen time. Fundamentally, we need to reduce the amount of screen time being given to kids. The average of 35 hours is giving them eye issues, mental and social issues, and harming their learning. Unless we want the next generation to have brain drain, rusted social skills, eye issues, and impaired learning, we need to decrease their screen time.
All right. Next up, we have Martina.
Is this good?
Yes.
A study from Yale University states that between 24 and 150 unique species are lost every single day. And we are the reason why. Global politicians and leaders need to reduce fossil fuels and increase green energy in order to prevent irreversible consequences from happening to our Earth. First, green energy can prevent animal extinction. Second, reducing fossil fuels can limit ocean warming and acidity. Finally, I will argue that without green energy, toxic methane gases and pollutants will continue to pollute our air. First, green energy can prevent animal extinction. According to a 2024 University of Connecticut Today study, if we continue on this rate of global warming, by 2100, 1 in 3 species could be extinct. According to a 2026 Arctic World Wildlife Fund, polar bears in particular are at risk of extinction due to wandering into populated areas and getting shot. This brings their population numbers down. Green energy can reduce global warming, and global warming shrinks the polar bear's main habitat down, which forces the polar bears to wander into populated areas in search of food, water, and nutrients. This can result in a loss of biodiversity, which reduces the amount of benefits we get, such as fertilization and nutrients in the soil. This can impact all ecosystems, like farmland, savannas, and rainforests. Biodiversity is needed not just for the polar bears, but so we can all live our daily lives. While fossil fuels accelerate climate change, green energy does the opposite. Increasing reusable energy can prevent the melting of glaciers. According to UN climate change from the United Nations, melting glaciers are directly related to warming temperatures, and melting glaciers have caused ocean levels to triple the rate of rise within the last 3 decades. According to NOAA 2025, melting glaciers have removed 41% of freshwater supplies since 1971 for millions around the world. This matters because people, indigenous communities specifically, are severed from their main water source, while ecosystems in the bay and coastal areas are flooded because of the rising sea levels. If indigenous communities no longer have access to the water that once nourished them, they'll be forced to flee their respective homelands, leaving behind years of culture and family. Lastly, green energy can prevent air toxins. According to the Clean Air Fund, 1/2 of global temperature raises are directly attributed to air toxins. According to the Environmental Protection Agency in 2026, global warming and air toxins are directly related. If gases like ozone and methane continue to take up space in our atmosphere, more heat and solar energy are trapped in our atmosphere, resulting in climate change. If we ignore this, humans and animals alike will suffer the consequences. We will overheat, animals will be forced to make evolutionary changes in a century that would normally take tens of millions of years, and we will be stuck with conditions like asthma that will affect us for the rest of our lives. As I've proven today, green energy can prevent animal extinction, rising sea levels, and toxic gas levels. The evidence is crystal clear. Green energy can prevent these imminent consequences from happening to our Earth. We must switch to green energy so we, are not the reason the next generation suffers.
Next up, we have Damon.
That's good. Imagine walking up to the ocean and dumping a handful of dollar bills into the waves. You wouldn't do it because it's wasteful, right? Throwing a recyclable bottle into the ocean is like doing the exact same thing, and yet millions of tons of plastic enter the ocean each year. I think this is very bad and that we should recycle for three main reasons. One, plastic is toxic and can be mistaken for food. Two, it can be very expensive to create. And three, it can be fun. First, the impact of plastic entering the ocean is huge because of the fact that every piece counts. A lot of plastic enters the ocean every day, which can be solved by recycling. Any piece of plastic dumped into the ocean can be mistaken for food, and since plastic is very toxic to animals, it can cause them to become sick or even die. Birds can also get stuck in the surface in search of food. According to National Geographic, there is predicted to be more plastic than fish by weight in 2030. This shows that plastic is not only harmful to marine life, but it is continuously growing, and if we don't do something about it soon, life all across the ocean could become extinct before we know it. Second, plastic is very expensive to create and can use expensive materials like oil. We need to be more mindful of this by doing things like recycling because we don't want all that plastic going to waste. We might not have a way to stop this, but we can even it out by recycling. According to National Geographic, plastic manufacturing can cost from $1.40 to $2.30 per pound and keep rising. This is a lot if you think about it or add it up. And according to Kittle.co, to make $100, you need 3,000 bottles. And since tons of plastic go into the ocean every day, this is like wasting thousands of dollars. This shows that plastic is getting more and more expensive, and we should be more mindful of this, like trying to work together globally to recycle. And finally, recycling can be fun. Working together to reuse plastic can have a fun side to it. Think about it. You can make things from a wide variety, like toys to even useful things. Since plastic can be made into pretty much anything, we should all take part in the fun that we can create. According to Britannica, between 8 and 11 million tons enter the ocean annually. And this is also equivalent to 2,000 garbage trucks dumped into the ocean. This shows that all this plastic enters the ocean, but we can work together globally to stop this. And the fun doesn't happen if we don't recycle. In conclusion, all this plastic enters the ocean, but we can work together to solve this by doing things like recycling globally. Ocean pollution can damage ecosystems, it can be very expensive to create, and it can be fun. So whenever you see a piece of plastic lying around on the streets, or you're done using one yourself, then recycle it.
All right. Next up, we have Dave, our final speaker.
Imagine walking down a school hallway, stripped of color, style, and self-expression. An emotionless, monotone landscape is exactly what wearing uniforms feels like. It's not a dress code. It's a violation of who you are. Uniforms should be banned in school because 1, they limit the self-expression of students, 2, they impose financial burdens on families, and 3, there's little evidence that uniforms improve academic outcomes and student conduct. Foremost among these concerns, uniforms suppress students' belonging and identity. According to a major research study following the lives of 6,320 fifth-grade students, stated that the fifth-grade students who were forced to wear uniforms showed lower levels of belonging to their school compared to the students who did not wear uniforms. In addition, according to the prominent peer-reviewed journal Frontiers in Psychology, uniforms play a crucial role in the psychological development of students. Existing designs of these uniforms, however, often neglect students' individualized needs, potentially hindering their mental health and emotional growth. This matters because the poor students who are forced to wear these uniforms and thus feel no sense of belonging to their school cannot focus on their schoolwork. Without being able to focus and learn, school is inevitably pointless. Therefore, showing how uniforms are a key factor in making school pointless. Compounding these problems, mandatory school uniforms impose unnecessary financial burdens on families. According to an article published by Britannica, 95% of parents in the UK on low incomes reported difficulties in meeting school-related costs, including uniforms, despite their children attending tuition-free schools. Furthermore, according to Dr. Matt Barnes, thousands of children are excluded from school activities and face severe consequences because their parents and them cannot afford to buy the school's required expensive uniforms. This is crucial because one pair of uniforms can cost around $50 to $100, which is worth about one family's week's worth of groceries. Ultimately, these sacrifices yield no reward as uniforms fail to improve academic outcomes and student conduct. According to that same major research study following the lives of thousands of fifth grade students, stated that contrary to common beliefs held by parents and educators, uniforms failed to exhibit a significant influence on young students' conduct and overall attendance. Moreover, according to Dr. Johanna Reity, uniforms have no direct impact on academic performance, yet they directly impact physical and psychological health. Girls, ethnic and religious minorities, gender diverse students, and poor students suffer harm disproportionately due to these poorly designed uniform policies and garments that do not suit their physical and socio-cultural needs. As I've explained today, this is vital because it shows truly how unnecessary uniforms are and how they don't provide any benefits to the students wearing them and only affect those students' cognitive health and development. This also affects how the students learn, as it depletes their motivation and drive to improve and learn, lowering test scores and behavior. As I've explained today, uniforms suppress students' self-expression, create financial strain, and do not improve academics or behavior. Thus, they should be prohibited. If students can't focus, then school is pointless. In order to support the future generations of students ahead of us, we must ban uniforms in all schools.
All right, Coach Haley, it's time for your students.
Yeah, awesome job, Coach Sandy's crew. Those were amazing. Thank you for your confidence and energy. Let's start off with Leia for the Troublemakers.
According to World Bank Open data, and as many of you could guess, 49.7% of our world population is female. Putting that into perspective, that is 4.15 billion people. Now think of a female in your life, a friend, a family member, or just an acquaintance. Are they human? The governing authority ruling Afghanistan should be abolished due to their dehumanization of women. Today, I'll talk about human rights that belong to everyone, the impact of education on economics and healthcare, and how the Taliban denies all of these for women. Today, before we discuss human rights, we need to understand who is in charge of the legal system. The Taliban is a political group ruling Afghanistan that is infamous to their dehumanization of women. With this in mind, let's first explore how the Taliban ignores basic human rights, particularly for women. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was created by the United Nations on December 10, 1948, and it is a document of fundamental, inalienable rights that belong to everyone. However, the Taliban rule makes it impossible for women to access these rights. Here are just a couple of examples. Article 16 of this document states that both parties must consent to marriage, before entering a marriage. However, in Afghanistan, even if a girl does not want to get married, her family can just force her to. Additionally, Article 2 states that everyone is entitled to these rights regardless of gender. But the Taliban solely discriminates against women. Let's go back a bit. What does it mean to have inalienable rights? When people have inalienable rights, it means that regardless of their government, regardless of their gender, they all have rights just by existing as human beings. Now that we've covered fundamental rights and how the Taliban simply dismisses them, we can take a look at another problem that arises from the lack of rights. Next, I will discuss how the Taliban's restriction on occupation and education is bringing Afghanistan to unnecessary economic ruin, as well as lowering the level of healthcare that women can receive. An economy functions when people work to earn money and then spend that money on goods or services that a business offers, and the business uses that money to keep their company running and to pay their workers' salaries. But what happens if half the population can't get jobs or aren't educated to do so? This is what's happening in Afghanistan because women cannot attend education past the 6th grade, and they cannot hold positions in government or nonprofit organizations. According to United Nations Women, on August 7, 2025, 78% of young women are not in education or employment, and Afghanistan is losing 2.5% of its GDP annually by not letting women go to school. Not only is the economy suffering, but women are also taking a blow from this. Because male doctors can only examine female patients under very specific regulations, most females who can afford it get help from girls who became doctors before the Taliban's education ban. This is a crisis because now that girls are unable to study to become doctors, the amount of help women have access to during life-threatening situations such as childbirth is decreasing significantly. Since the Taliban's treatment of women deprives them of basic human rights and resources needed for survival, the Taliban should be eradicated and rebuilt with women in mind. Something simple we can all do is raising awareness. Because someone talked about this to me, I'm talking to all of you about it. By shifting perspective on gender apartheid, we can eventually lead to better women's rights globally. Mary Curie, Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman. Where would the world be without them? Actually, where would we all be without the women who gave birth to us? But regardless of how important women are, humans are humans, and that is all the reason we need to advocate for them.
Great. Nice job, Leia. Let's move to Michael.
Did you know that the reason presidents only serve 2 terms is because of Franklin Roosevelt? In 1944, Roosevelt was elected for the 4th consecutive time, the most by any president in history. And as great as the president that he was, shortly after his death, the 22nd Amendment was passed, limiting the amount of terms a president can run. Today, I will show you why presidents should be able to run for more than 2 terms, because of its profound positive effects on government. In this speech today, I'll first cover the reason the 22nd Amendment was passed, then the reason why the law isn't even useful, and lastly, why this law hurts our government. But in order to cover this very broad topic, first, we have to get to the root of the problem. First, you have to understand why the 22nd Amendment was created. According to the National Constitution Center, on November 5th of 2020, they state this. In March of 1947, a Republican-controlled Congress passed the 22nd Amendment. As you may know, Roosevelt was a Democrat for all of his 4 terms. So is it a coincidence that as soon as Republicans regained control of Congress, they passed a term limit? I think not. So what next? What do we cover next? Next, we cover why this law isn't even useful in most cases. According to Stephen W. Stathis at the University of Minnesota Law School in 1990, he stated this. Most people forget that 28 of the 41 men who lived in the White House did not serve 2 terms. In fact, the average length of their service is just 5 years and 2 months. So if most presidents don't even serve 2 terms, then why do we need this law? To this day, there's only been one person to serve over 2 terms, and that's Roosevelt. So again, why do we need this law? But the worst part about this whole situation is this law hasn't just sat idle on the sidelines. No, this law has actively hurt our country by being instated. According to Colorado College, in November of 2023, they stated this. Of a president of the savvy, ability, or agility of Washington, Lincoln, or Roosevelt were available during a crisis such as Pearl Harbor, the Cuban Missile Crisis, or 9/11. Their wisdom and experience would be greatly valued and needed. So wisdom and experience are the qualities that we value in a time of crisis. And the people who have already served 2 terms have these qualities. Then it would be obviously a bad choice for not to allow them to have an office. These decisions to for work as long as remains in run for just as our domain was intended. What communities and spread the word? Because why should we keep a law that was made to stop one person?
Nice work, Michael. Thank you for sharing. Let's have Noah present next, please.
A teenager spends the afternoon scrolling through social media. They watch videos with music that make people laugh, cry, and stay engaged. The day ends, and they've listened to hundreds of songs, but they've never been taught how to create one. In a world where music influences nearly every moment online, shouldn't students learn how to create music instead of just listening to it? I believe that schools in the United States should teach their students how to compose music because it allows them to actively participate in society instead of just standing by. First, in this speech, I will talk about how music composition is a form of expression and literacy. Second, we can explore how music composition will help us build skills we can apply anywhere. And finally, I will talk about how music composition will turn students from consumers into creators, starting with music. A problem that we face today is that many teenagers listen to music without understanding the work that goes on behind it. We teach students to read and to write, not because they will all become authors, but because every student deserves the chance to think and to share what they're thinking. The purpose of composing music is to have another language through which students can share and express themselves. In 2024, LeGrand Music, Knoxville's music instruction studio, states that too often in the United States, music literacy is viewed as optional, an extra. Music is celebrated culturally, but the tools to understand and participate in it deeply are not always prioritized. This is important. Schools should teach how to compose music because imagine having a very powerful emotion and not having the words to express it. Music can be that voice if you let it. Now that I've talked about how music composition is a form of expression, we'll move on to talk about how music composition can help us build skills we can apply anywhere. Beyond communication, composing music can help us build skills such as thinking critically, solving problems creatively, and pushing through challenges. Composing music isn't random. Music composers must organize their ideas, recognize patterns, and decide how every note contributes to the piece. These are the same skills students can use to solve math problems and to write essays. This also teaches them that the mistakes they make are not failures. Now that I've talked about how music composition can help us build skills, I will finally talk about how composing music will help students learn to create. Composing music is important to teach now more than ever because music is at the center of today's digital world and culture. Before I learned how to compose music, I would watch movies with music that would shape my emotions, and I was always wondering how music could do that. After signing up for a music composition class at school, I was so excited to be provided with a deeper understanding as to how music could be so versatile. Instead of giving students the trends to follow, we should give them the skills to start them. Not only will they leave their mark online, but they will inspire others with their music. In this speech today, I've talked about how music composition, 1, helps students express themselves, 2, help them build skills that they can apply anywhere, and 3, help them learn how to create. Composing music is easy once you learn how to do it. I'm not asking you to become professional composers. Just take a little bit of time out of your day to learn about the music you hear every day. Imagine a world where students have the confidence and the skills to share their own voices instead of borrowing someone else's. We'd be raising better communicators and stronger thinkers. Because at the end of the day, it's not about creating the next famous artist. It is about making sure that everyone is heard.
Lovely job. Nice work, Noah. And next up, let's have Ethan, please.
According to a BBC article published on June 3rd, 2026, Iran's stockpile of uranium reached about 970 pounds, enriched to 60% as of June 2025. That's enough to build at least 10 nuclear bombs. The US and Israel should maintain military pressure against the Iranian regime due to its profound positive impact on neutralizing the immediate threat of a nuclear-armed tyranny. Today, I will first discuss how military pressure physically degrades the regime's nuclear process. Then, examine how the US-Israel alliance acts as a powerful deterrent. And finally, explain how sustained pressure provides the leverage needed to enforce international compliance. To better take a step back and look at the whole picture, let's talk about why the pressure is needed. First, I'll discuss how military pressure degrades the regime's nuclear process. According to an analysis published in the Washington Post on June 25th, 2026, nuclear weapons expert David Albright assessed that prior to President Trump's Operation Midnight Hammer, Iran had a program that had 22,000 centrifuges, most of them enriching all the way up to 60%. Now, most of these centrifuges are destroyed. This matters because obliterating the machinery needed for enrichment alters the strategic landscape. Military pressure has successfully pushed Iran's estimated time to make a nuclear bomb from just a couple months to at least 1 year or more, proving it is a practical necessity that physically neutralizes an imminent threat. While physically dismantling these facilities sets the regime back, the true strength of this pressure lies in the strategic alliance that forces Iran to think twice. Second, the military unity between the US and Israel acts as a powerful strategic deterrent that effectively checks the Iranian regime's aggression. When the United States and Israel stand shoulder to shoulder, they combine the world's most advanced intelligence networks, missile defense, and strategic air power. By conducting joint military exercises and maintaining shared defense systems, this coordinated, multi-layered defensive front sends a clear message that an attack on one is an attack on both. This matters because a strong defense prevents a conflict before it even begins. When a hostile regime faces an overwhelming, unified military response, they are forced to think twice. This partnership creates a powerful psychological barrier that stops regional escalation in its tracks. However, checking aggression is only a temporary fix. The true value of maintaining this front is what it allows us to accomplish on the global stage. Finally, I will explain how sustained pressure provides the leverage needed to enforce international compliance. The alliance is no longer just about funding. It is about absolute integration. With the 2026 passage of the Futures Act and Operation Epic Fury, the US and Israel now operate with unified data fusion and shared command networks. Instead of isolated nations, Iran faces a singular, integrated military front. This matters because fully synchronized data forces eliminate any operational blind spots. This deep integration strips the regime of its ability to exploit diplomatic or military divides, making international compliance a necessity for their survival rather than a negotiable concession. Today, we've examined the critical realities of maintaining decisive military pressure against the Iranian regime. We explored how it physically dismantles nuclear infrastructure, how the US-Israel alliance acts as an unshakable deterrent, and how absolute operational integration provides the leverage needed to enforce international compliance. Ultimately, sustained military pressure isn't an obstacle to peace, but rather the most effective instrument to disarm a nuclear tyranny and secure long-lasting stability. We must urge our government to maintain an unyielding commitment to the strategic alliance. Stand firm behind the policies that prioritize proactive global security and protect our shared democratic values.
Nice work, Ethan. Let's close us out with our final speaker, Charlotte.
During my civic action project, I served as a poll worker at an election site, assisting voters throughout election day. I counted ballots, directed voters, and explained to them the voting process. This experience completely changed the way I viewed elections, government, and democracy. Instead of just memorizing information out of a textbook, I became a part of the democratic process firsthand. And I saw how our system takes individuals coming together to make their voices heard. This is why I strongly believe that California public schools should implement more engaging, hands on civics classes due to their profound positive impact on the preservation of democracy. Today, I will explore first how requiring interactive civic education courses in public high schools will help the youth feel more confident with the election system. Next, how it will support long term civic participation. And lastly, we'll see how it allows students to stay connected to their communities and government. A major challenge the youth faces today is feeling unprepared and uncertain on how to engage in the election system. First, I believe improving civic education will allow the youth to develop the confidence they need to engage in the election system. In fact, according to data published by Circle on January 23rd, 2023, only 40% of youth feel well qualified enough to participate in civic life. This reflects a larger issue of how civic education is currently being delivered in schools today. Without strong civic learning experiences, students are left unprepared and uncertain about how to take action. Now, let's dive deeper into why improving civic education is essential for young people. Improving civic education is essential for young people to allow them to develop lifelong civic participation. According to an article published by the National Library of Medicine on November 1st, 2015, high school students who participate in civic activities were reported to have higher levels of civic knowledge and civic efficacy. This means that high schoolers who are introduced to these opportunities will be likely to carry on their engagement into the future, participating more through voting. In turn, this will strengthen our democracy and preserve it for future generations. Next, let's explore the benefits for students who are given the opportunity to participate in civic life starting in high school. Requiring in-depth civic education courses starting in high school
will allow the youth to feel more connected to their communities and government. For example, in my school, Congressman Kevin Mullen came to speak to our class about policies that were important in our community and his role in addressing them. Many of my peers and I discovered newfound interests towards becoming involved in community issues that matter to us personally. Bringing in local elected officials is just one way students can feel more connected to their government. More importantly, it allows students to feel seen, heard, and feel that they can make a difference in their community despite being young. Overall, an improved civic education curriculum would provide a multitude of benefits for the youth and promote involvement in their communities long after graduation. I believe stronger courses are essential towards giving students the tools they need to be heard in decision making and preserve democracy for generations to come. I urge California public high schools to adopt engaging, hands-on, and interactive civic education courses, whether that be through including guest speakers or incorporating civic action projects into the curriculum to move students from passive learning towards genuine, prepared involvement. I still remember the excitement I felt serving as a poll worker for the 2024 presidential election, seeing the rush of voters stream into the election site. The best part was, I got to engage in democracy firsthand, and I want all youth to have that same opportunity, starting in the classroom.
Excellent work, y'all. Can we give one more huge round of applause for each and every single one of you and your amazing performances? Great. So that wraps up our 2026 virtual session number 3 showcase. Thank you all for all of your hard work these past 2 weeks. Thank you to all of the parents and families who supported our awesome students, and thank you to anybody watching. Hopefully, we'll get to see you at one of our in-person camps next year or during club debates. Have a great rest of your summer.